Can we have a repeat on Thursday? I'm training. I'm in training.
Gave someone and he said, was he standing far?
2 people with 4 left feet.
What?
No, it was a dance I've never done. What was it called?
The chick tried to salsa.
Salsa. Well, in my mind, I do it perfectly.
Java na tumbo uko na realize waist inafaa kuwa inside pia. Buda zinagongana.
It's all right. I'll do better.
Yeah. Anyway,
if you see me dancing, come for a photo op.
Please, and yo kijua hivyo. Nataka tuingie hapa kwa mahari. Don't confuse pale chiles pale waone. Wewe unajua ukilewaga kuna venye unachapia dem ile. You know it can change your life.
But I mean,
you can.
I have the potential. I have the potential. Can change your life in so many ways.
Yeah, bro. Wacha hizo. What's your definition of a dowry? Now, you as the oldest on this table.
Dowry is something you give the parents to allow you to marry their daughter. You give people to marry to allow you to take their daughter.
Payment given, right? So
I don't know if it's. When you're saying that, I was struggling with payment or appreciation.
Hiyo inaweza kuwa ni word ya English. You appreciation inaweza kuwa
like a token.
Token, like these girls we see out here. Token is being given.
So ndio
ujaingianga Craigslist.
Amata vedonde hapo. Marvin, what's your definition of dowry?
A token of appreciation to the person for how they've been raised and for what they'll contribute to both you and your community. So it's like a token.
Is it
so? And yours?
Me personally, definition of dowry ni na appreciate ikitu yenu.
Mumetry.
Like nimekujia mtu wenu na siwezi waacha hivyo. Maybe I'll give you a cow. You can mnaweza ikamua. Unajua like
you so basically you're saying give us your cow, give me your cow, I give you another cow.
But hawakuwa namkamua.
So she was useless there.
No, there. See, they made her to be valuable for what they needed from this side. Unaget? Na mimi nilikuwa natafuta valuable. Nilikuwa natafuta
value.
So is dowry like attached to a lady's value, the girl's value?
Dowry is a touch of a lady's value.
Pato, what do you think?
That's just it.
What do chicks think? Ebu patia Pato, Mike. What do chicks think?
Personally, it should be a sign of
not
the
what
man's,
it should be. What do you think? What do you
mimi
think?
kwangu inafaa kuonyesha the man's capability kunilea miaka ile ambayo atanichukua. Kwa hivyo kama ufiki kunichukua na pesa za adabu, kumaanisha hapo mbele tutateseka.
So mimi ni value
for the man, for me it's not for the woman.
So nikileta kambuzi
ni value ya mwanamke.
Nikileta kambuzi you give me 1 week eh?
Yeah, ukileta mbuzi kumaanisha hauna hata pesa ya next week tutakula nini?
What if value yako ni hiyo mbuzi?
How do you measure this value?
What look at this
services nitakupatia si za mbuzi peke yake.
You utapeana nini? Hiyo mbuzi itanipatia maziwa, itanipatia watoto. Unaget ni kuikula tu stay kula, but itanipatia food na watoi
and some young wealth. Eventually itakuwa ka wealth fulani.
Itakuwa wealth, ita grow.
Wewe kama mwanaume ndio unafikiria huyu dem nitamlipia kulingana na Kenya ataniletea kwa table, si ndio?
No, nowadays even people are being dictated to.
This is what I'm asking, like let's see no explanation yet. Kila mtu ampeana definition direct. Don't be emotional with it. Dowry inamaanisha nini? Is it a value
or a payment?
It's a payment.
It's a payment. Yeah. Dowry ni ile unaenda kulipa family uchukue mtu wao. So your family ndio ina decide uko how much.
But the payment kind of shows the value they hold in the person.
So basically you're saying you're buying a check.
According to
you're buying a chile.
To a man's capability pia.
Yeah, but you're buying a chile.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You are buying a woman.
Wacha nikwambia hata kwa culture yetu.
Na view unaonaje?
Mimi naona hivi. First of all, tuli definition yangu ya dowry ni just as a majority of you have said. It's payment, but for me it's more of a token of appreciation.
That's why I said
It's not supposed to be payment. Kwa sababu sahi, it brings us now to the next topic, which is commercialization of marriage, ama dowry.
Dowry, bride price.
Being
Actually use the word bride price now.
Bride
That's where
price.
bride price
Unaelewa?
comes in.
So it stopped being about the token of appreciation, and now it went to becoming ikakuwa kitu ingine. Na nilikuwa hapa
value.
hivi
No, it's a
research.
scheme for becoming rich.
Wait. Hapo mali kwanza natakataa. Token of appreciation, hizo ndo dowry, modern dowry mtaka kuleta.
See,
no
Token of appreciation ni kama saizi wewe ukichukuliwa ukipeana ukidonate kidney. It has no value, right?
let me put you in the know.
Wait. Kidney haina value ati ukidonate.
But the situation,
Si tukiuza nasema ukidonate.
the situation, if you donate
Ukidonate
to
haina
someone who
value.
needs it, it
Imagine
has
if you
value.
donate
Financial value. you mean.
utapatiwa appreciation.
Yes.
Thanks for the
Unaget,
kidney.
Thanks. Si ati you umeidonate juu mtu ana need, let's negotiate. But bribe, there's negotiation. So it's not just unaweza appreciate, unaweza kuja useme nimeappreciate.
Na
Mtu wenu
na-
anatosha mbuzi.
and they say fuck
Na
off.
sisi tukwambia wewe umeappreciate. Nini hizo?
See-
Mtoto wetu ameenda shule bana amesoma medicine 10 years.
There's a, I
Mtoto
think
wetu anaweza beba maji kwa kichwa.
in some communities,
She
if
can
you
buy her own
do-
goat.
If you do
Ona
have the
kama na
wealth
goat
to,
hapa.
if you do have the wealth to, or at least the simple infrastructure to, you can actually a bride price that is kind of
According to your wealth.
yes.
No,
And
we are
that-
talking about
I think-
tunaongelea dowry.
Let's
Bro, you are going into details before tuende huko.
wacha tuangalie first of all the definition from the African context. Unaelewa what our historians said or thought the bride price was. Hapa hivi inasema
Welcome Soli, tafadhali patia Soli.
Solely in the motherfucking house.
And Soli to, right now umetupata kwanza vifiti ndio tumetoka break. We are talking about dowry.
Yes.
So before nani hebu patieni nani
And
Mike
is it-
before
is it-
Via tupatie history lessons.
What's
Ah,
your
ah.
definition?
What's your
definition
definition of dowry?
Dowry. Take your time, bro.
anytime this year.
Thanks, man.
Anytime before 10 minutes later.
Leo naona umekuwa Jabba the Hutt, eh?
But
Baraba the heart.
leo niko arrested bila bail. Yeah, bro.
Mbona anga hii story ni
Just give us your definition.
definition.
Because we're entering into details later on.
ah,
But just yani saizi, what's your definition of dowry?
si ni tu negotiations tu yani.
So like
Cement.
as in ni nini, you kuna watu wanasema ni token of appreciation.
Mwingine anasema it's
Mimi
ni
nimesema
kubuy
ni-
them.
ni value ya ni value ya dem, so una buy dem. So ndio so wewe peana yako.
Nikwangi kubuy them because dowry ilipangu ikaisha. It's something that's continuous. Yeah? So it just starts the process of interacting and getting to know your in-laws. Yeah? And unapeangwa wanakuambia, alafu mna negotiate, then I get to know the kind of person you are, whether you're a greedy person, yeah?
But
whether, yeah?
okay,
So
sawa.
it's a way to get to
So
know
it's a
people.
way of it's
It's
like
an appreciation.
it's like an intermarriage, like it's an interculture.
Ya pia ni ya kucement
Ya
relations, eh?
Uh-huh.
Because unaona like in the Taita,
Ama interfamilies.
among the Taita, hizo ma bride zile zimeletwa zikikuja zinaekangwa hapo chini kwa ground, and then mzee anaita dota wake, anamwambia, anamuuliza umekubali kwa bibia huyu mtu? Anasema ndio. Kwa hivyo nikichukua hii mali sitakuja baadaye niambiwe nilipe. So unaona, it's a way of just cementing relationships.
Okay, V.
And then it goes to the point of marriage pia, because the whole point of marriage was the acquisition of in-laws. Yeah. Okay, tumefika hapo.
Umeenda mbali.
Ah.
Tuko kwa dowry.
Interestingly,
Marriage na dowry.
there are some cultures.
And also
V,
maintaining
kuja hapa kwa
peace.
mic.
Kuna culture zingine ukipeana, if you bring the money in the price, the dowry in bulk, wanajam.
Yeah, it's never
It
supposed
has to be
paid
paid in
once.
stages.
Unawashow madha.
Haya. Na kuna culture zingine ni dem analipa mahari. So pia
Yes, yes.
Those I
So
think are
video-
the best ones.
So mimi niko kwanza to get reference from our African traditions. Unaelewa? Because at the moment what we are saying is our perception, our current perception of what dowry is. But I don't believe that what we think dowry is what it was according to our communities then. So it says here, I'll take us to Congo. In the DRC, bride price is referred to as lato. Though the payment is made to the groom's family, the bride... Though the payment is made to the groom's family, to the bride's family, or biuma, that's the language. Although historically there was a variation in marriage payment customs, today bride price is practiced amongst ethnic groups in DRC. Bride price also functions as legal proof of marriage, and a couple are not considered married until a bride price is paid in full. Therefore, bride price is also important in the inheritance and determining the lineage of any children of marriage, since if a husband dies, it allows a woman to prove that they were officially married. That's in the DRC. When you come back to Kenya, it says here that momento.
So first in DRC, it's supposed to it gives it
Proof of-
recognition.
It's like a church
Certificate.
marriage.
Certificate to them.
Yeah, once umeenda hiyo, it's like a church marriage. Like you've proven.
With the signing even
Yes.
of the
Just giving out hizo vitu ni venye Solia amesema, baba akisema hii nikichukua ni sahihi ambiwa. So the woman is the, in that case maybe the woman is the confirmation nini. Is the witness.
the whole dowry exchange and everything.
Anyway, have
So
endelea. Kenya,
in Kenya,
and don't standardize Kenya.
I'm not standardizing Kenya, but it says
Na hiyo Kongo ilikuwa ni kabila gani?
hiyo ni wanaitwa give me 1 minute. Wanaitwa, I think the language they speak is Biuma.
Biuno.
So Biuma. Yes.
In Kenya.
Haya, sawa. In Kenya tukikama hapa hivi wanasema
Please usiniambie imepotea.
haijapotea. Another concern centers around incentives that bride price generates, or of what incentives the bride price generates for parents. It has been argued that parents may have an incentive to sell their daughters early to obtain bride price payment, resulting in early marriages and higher rates of lifetime fertility.
Lifetime fertility.
Uganda. Reports from Uganda of parents taking children out of school so that they can be married early in return for bride price. In the words of one focus group patient, the selling of a human being because of family wants or wealth,
Poor areas.
selling your daughter at a tender age are common. This is because people prefer to get wealth at the expense of their daughter's education. Now that's your society.
So military education.
Hiyo ni education. Hiyo ni kitu ingine.
Hiyo umetoka kwa culture.
Hiyo ni wealth.
The whole thing is centered on
wealth within the culture.
if
because
the
you
parents
said-
Umetoka
are poor,
education. Inamaanisha hata huku mali ameenda anaweza pelekwa education bado.
But nasema cultures that used to do that were viewing women as a tool of wealth. Unaelewa?
Okay.
So in short, anakupatia value, ukiendea dota ya msee anakupatia value ile yeye ameweka kwa dota wake. Unaelewa? And that now brought the issue ya wanaume kufeel I paid bride price for you, which means your parents sold you to me, so I own you literally. Unaelewa? Hakuna kitu yenye wewe unaweza niambia because your value was just 10 cows. Unaelewa? So if your value was 10 cows, I paid 10 cows for you to be mine. No longer your family's. Unaelewa?
Sasa peana hiyo mic.
That's why I said I give you a cow, you give me your cow.
Patia swali mic. Unajua kwa nini mimi naweza pingana na hiyo? Mi in fact chenye umeleta education. Hapo ndio nimekwambia umetoa. Unaona venye umeongelea Kongo? No education was mentioned. But all respect to it was mentioned.
No, this is now the modern dowry ndio hiyo amesema.
So wewe umemix sasa. Na si ilikuwa
he also gave in the Ugandan context. I'm
Ugandan,
sure
but hiyo bro,
that whole thing
that's a context.
Communities that are poor, usually the girls will be seen to be the ones who will be able to enrich the family.
Bro, there's no community that is rich. By the
to enrich.
There's no community that is rich, and there's no community that is poor.
Grown folks discuss now.
Yo, Mavo, you get me? Nataka uanze na hiyo. Anytime unaongelea hiyo unaongeleaga hiyo sasa wewe unaongelea
the modern one.
The modern. Hii ni like modern system. You're not talking about like our tumeongelea dowry tukiongelea cultures zetu.
But you see also in the past people used to say that chick is worth 10 cows.
Si ndio nasema hivi.
Sasa si ni chapa inakam.
Lakini hakuna before tuende huko hakuna community rich ama poor. There is either a rich person in that community or a poor wako.
Yeah, the Africans were not.
And then in every time kulikuwa na dowry, wanawake wako wanakimbilia watu wa poor. In fact polygamy ilikuwa ni watu wako na do. Si ndio?
Yes.
So unapata family inakubali unaweza olewa mtu wa 20 kwa sababu mjamaa atalipa.
They can provide.
And he can take care of you.
Na anaweza kupatia hata kani land. Unajua yani kuna hiyo. So in our culture it had nothing to do with property, it had nothing to do with anything. It is the modern culture ndio inatuonyesha dowry ilikuwa hivi na hivi na you want to define it. But dowry ilikuwa ni venye Java amesema kuna dem mwenyewe according to the community. Unajua kuna watu wana spy. Si ndio? Like wewe hii familia yetu inataka yule nini, hebu enda ka spy
kama kuna mang'ombe.
Kama huo mtoi wako aje. You get? Wakuja kuambia you are eligible to marry. Huyu inaweza kuwa poa sana ukioa huyu. Familia hawa iko hivi na hivi. Familia yenu, you know, it was nothing to do with love. It was a mutual thing.
Yeah, it was.
Most of the time it was for solidifying territories.
Yeah.
Everything except everything.
So, kuna zile zenye zilikuwa zinakuja zile zenye unapata pengine kuna dem mwenye hayuko top at the top, hajachaguliwa na kiongozi.
Yes.
Unaona huyo sasa anabakia raia. So raia pia lazima ichangamke ndio umchukue, you can't ama as in bro, modern things ndio zilileta hizi stories za unaendea dem and you're not ready.
Yeah, those days if you don't have chums, that means you don't have cows to take.
You don't have cows.
So you wait your turn.
The whole thing about marriage, first of all, like in the traditional setting and in the modern setting is a bit different, because with the coming of modernity there came all these Western ideas that honestly to some point they don't make sense. But in the past it used to be that first of all you have to understand what wealth is. You know, like I remember there's a story of a World Bank executive who came to meet some leaders in Africa, some wazes. Yeah, these wazes, you know, they sat down and they interrogated him. First they wanted to know who are we dealing with. He says he's a big man from where he is, so they asked him, you know, how many wives do you have? Just one. How many kids? 2 kids.
2 and 2.5.
How many cows do you have? None. Hey, the wazes nyamaza had like, this is a mzee bwana, but he's a very poor mzee. So these wazes, they sat down, they chomoad, each of them chomoad ngombes, yani.
To give this nigga.
Yeah, to give this nigga. They're like, but there's no way you can sit in the baraza. Na una kakitu. I mean, their view of wealth was different. And in the past, the primary view of wealth was people. Yeah, people were wealth. Yeah, and how much territory you controlled was determined by how many people you had. Yeah, you know, whether it's to go
To
with the
man
cattle,
the areas.
to man the area, to protect the land,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
protect the boma, was dependent on how many people you had. So that was wealth to them. So now here I have wealth. I have my daughters who are working in my estate. They are bringing value to me. Yeah. Then somebody wants to come and take a
Reduce your workforce.
yes, reduce my workforce. Yeah.
So
Lazima
before uendelea at the end of the day bado
Hey.
umeongelea value ya dem.
you have
At
to
this point uko
eh,
hapo kwa value.
utaniwachia kakitu ndio hata mimi maybe I retain that wealth in my family so that if I have sons I can use the same wealth to get them a wife also. Yeah? So in that regard it's like ni kama ball vile mna trade players. Si you player mali yuko na ile value analeta.
Yes.
Basi unaona
Mm.
hiyo part ndio inaleta hii vita ya basi huo ni property. Cause kama player ni property bra.
Yes.
This is
You know,
business, usikach.
we can't avoid it. Bride
Unajua,
price
tunaongelea hiyo.
it's just property. Man.
Mwenye analipiwa hiyo bride price ni juu ako na value fulani. Si ndio? So inaweza kuwa hata kama umedecide to join families or to whatever you have to do, it's because there's a price to the bride. Si ndio?
I mean, that was the how it was done, but the why it was done was also important because the why was more than just property because
The union.
it was the union of two families. That's how you consolidated.
Really, the people did it because of that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right?
Most zilikuwa unions za families ama to stop a war.
There's that aspect, yes, but in normal day, like normal life, a guy just feels I want to marry. Don't give a fuck if you're
Saizi
joining the
saizi
families.
Pick.
Do you know most people unaenda kulipa bride price, uendi kuilipa based on value venye una feel na huyo mtu.
It's already predetermined.
Price.
Kuna ile tayari ishawekwa. So inaweza kuwa wewe unaweza kuwa uko na a more value in your head. But unajua unafika pale juu uko it's a negotiating thing. Wacha nifike nianze hivi. Then tuone una realize kumbe she was cheaper. Ama unaweza amua uende uangushe. Ukishaangusha there's no negotiation. Then unapata wewe unachukua kama asset.
Dizo hapa hivi inasema Volkridge instead of Volkridge is a scholar described it dowry as the compensation for complete loss of a worker as a bride withdraws from her own kindred or henceforth belongs to her husband.
Right. The what?
It is compensation for the complete loss of a worker as a bride withdraws from her own kindred and henceforth belongs to her husband. Bride price is particularly common among groups that practice patrilineal descent, and is considered as a compensation of payment for the bride's future children who will no longer be part of her parents' family. In fact, in many groups, marriage is equated with the payment of bride price. In their work on the Kikuyu in Kenya, Adams and Mburugu write that bride wealth, or another term for bride price, is primary indicator of wealth, just as you've said, with one respondent saying, there was no ceremony, but traditionally I am married because I paid the bride wealth. With regard to the Sebei of Uganda, anthropologist Goldschmidt notes that without the transfer of bride price, there is no marriage and no children, and the children will not belong to the father's lineage.
That's cultural.
That's cultural.
it still doesn't get rid of this issue of buying a chick.
Yeah. So tuko hapo, tuko hii bride price saa hii ni nini?
There's this simp who got divorced. Reads news.
Lakini mbona watu mnadhani kuna nini something for nothing?
Ye-
Yes.
No, I want something for nothing.
No,
Yeah.
Soli tunasema hit the nail on the head, right? You say hizi unajua hizi vitu unaenda kuna zile words zenye Musa mi sipendi. But you can tell someone one word and it will kill a whole argument. Sindio? Just because your word ni standardized. Hata si ati haelewi ni standardized. Una get? Ni kama ukuje uniambie uko depressed. Bro, kuna watu wengine maybe they're just sad. They're not depressed. As in their life is just yani hao tu, they're just those sad people. Wale wenye wanaangaliaga a glass half empty. There are people like that. Una get? And then kuna wale wenye wanaangalia glass half full.
Soma 48 laws of power. Sema avoid the unlucky and the sad and the unlucky. Ama kitu kama hiyo.
Sasa unaona hata kama ni avoid them, but chenye nasema ni you can drop a word that will combine the unlucky and the lucky. Sindio? Like ukiona unlucky maybe ameanza kuwa na tendencies za unlucky, unamuita ako depressed. Meaning inamaanisha huyu mwenye ako unlucky ako fully depressed. As in kuna words zo break vitu mingi. So ndio hii inakuja nasema saa hii. Saa hizi kwa hii bride price tunaambiwa kwa property. Hiyo ndio discussion nataka tukue nayo, hiyo discussion hiyo. Sasa yenyewe unachukua mtu ni property kwa sababu hata useme nini ama nini umelipa.
And payment
doesn't matter when payment is amelipa madem.
Payment purchase.
Let me try and simplify this argument. In the traditional setting and in some other cultural settings in the modern day,
Urban.
No, not the Western. In the Western tradition, hawaangaliangi wanawake kama property. But in many cultures around the world, hauangalianga tu kama property. Yeah. So unakuja ukiolewa ukienda kwa husband yake, wewe ni property yake. So even in the West kitambo it used to be like that. That's why a woman could not own property, she could not vote, she could not do all this.
But
yeah.
That didn't work on every category. Solely that only worked on the poor. When I get the rich, a woman could marry a man.
Not in the old times.
No,
it's a new development.
If you came from a wealthy family,
if you
came from a wealthy family,
she's a queen. She's outside this discussion.
Sasa outside. Hiyo ndo chenye nasema yani.
Inaitwa common law.
Unaona sasa hizo ndo vitu nasema. Yani chenye nasema ni hii bride price mimi na feel ni kama imekuwa narrowed down too much.
But you see the wealthy do not marry for the same reason that the average person marries.
So ambapo kuna definition ya bride price kwa wealthy na definition ya bride price kwa poor.
Yao inakuanga ni mergers and acquisitions.
That's what I'm asking you. Is there a definition for the wealthy and the poor? Because saizi tukaenda legally.
The wealthy also pay bride price, don't they?
There's a difference in implication. That's what I think.
Hii swali ni kitu very complicated.
Quite.
Because you have to understand a lot of other things ndio uelewe.
Context.
The thing is, ile naonanga ina make sense. Marriage was not. It was about the acquisition of in-laws. Yeah. And it was also
what value are in-laws?
A transfer of wealth.
What value are in-laws to
a broader family, creating nini allies?
Si umemarika unakaa chini, tuseme kuna family function, si ndio? Unakuja mnakaa chini wewe na my in-laws. Uko na my brothers Javan wangapi?
Wawili
so mko na maboys watatu, si ndio? Alafu wife pia yeye yuko na familia yake. Mkika hivi family function, mi najua
Mshajaza viti.
family moja, huyu mzee ni lawyer, kuna wasichana wake both of them wameoa sons wa the equivalent of ministers, yani very high profile. Hata mi nilishangaa hiyo kitu, niliangalia nikasema wewe imagine family gathering kama hiyo, mkikaa hivi mwanze kupull resources together. Lakini wewe umeenda umeoa dem hata hajulikani yani. Hata watu wake hajulikani. Because I love her. Munaka hivi. Unakuja unaekewa mzigo yote. Kila mtu ni wewe anaangalia. Una mtu wa kusaidia.
Nakusha.
Si ungeenda uowe tu nini? Wife.
Bila love.
Si lazima akue ati ametoka wealthy family. Lakini unaangalia family yake, mabrother zake wako aje nini. Hiyo itakusaidia in the long run. Huyu msee anaweza kwambia Javan una struggle. Acha nitakushow. Kuna job wewe apply nitakusukumia. Lakini hebu start thinking about it like that.
It's starting to make sense.
It's making sense.
The interconnectability, connections.
You do that for 3-4 generations. Wewe ufanye hivyo, watoi wako, sons zako wafanye hivyo. Si unajua wewe ukifanya hivyo umeinua level ya familia yako kidogo. Sons zako nao waende a level higher hivyo. In 5 generations you are among the richest families in Kenya.
So fuck love.
Lakini nyinyi mmekuja mmedanganywa ati you marry for love.
So bride price, Oliver, hata usiende, bride price has nothing to do with love. It has nothing to do with love.
Ina bring families together.
Ndio nasema yani it has nothing to do with love. Uendi kulipa bride price mahali juu umependa huyo mtu. Mtu anafaa kulipa bride price juu hiyo familia ina add value.
Hata wacha hivyo.
Unaona
kama
is it compensation?
Wende kama
as you're saying.
Sudan, wende kwa Msudani sawa Manuel. Kama Madinka.
1,000 cows straight.
Kwa 1,000 cows utatoa wapi? Hiyo bride price huwezi lipa wewe peke yako. Lazima utalipa wewe na familia.
That's why they also say you can convert it to it's a certain amount in dollars. It amounts to like either between $75,000 and $10,000. So that's the option. They can.
I've heard of 10 million.
Okay, but be it as it may, but I'm sure there's that equation that it forms too, because you can't also just pull up 1,000 cows from the blue.
Dowry is also a way of keeping away losers from your family. Kama mwezi afford mkae.
So ndio nasema, so it has nothing to do with love. Nothing.
Now my question is,
so dowry ni ile
mimi niko na swali. It has nothing to do with love. But as we've also discussed, the family has the right, according to you guys, to put a tag.
That's what I was going to. That's what I was
so
going
now,
to.
Me swali yangu ni, if the family has the right to put a price tag on that, and I'm paying this bride price because of also our relations,
Yes.
doesn't that just mean I own this woman? And what are the implications of that to the current society that we're living in?
Look at how it's working today.
I know of a family, a real story. Jamaa aliambiwa, baba msichana mwambia bride price ninunulia Mercedes. Hakuna kununua. Wewe alichanga akanunua Mercedes akapatia. On the wedding day, the father-in-law just came and gave the boy the Mercedes. Watu walikuwa wanataka kuona kama unaweza nunua. It's not nini like among the Masais. The Masais by the ile pesa inatoleangwa whatever hizo ng'ombe zote. Msichana na kijana ndio upewa waanzishe familia yao. Lakini sasa wewe umeenda umechukua mtu from the streets.
Wanaitisha 2 million.
Na wengine unakuja mumepewa nyumba, mumepewa magari, nini, umesetiwa hapo. Kama una job unatafutiwa job nzuri.
Ndio hiyo.
So no, the question I was going to ask.
The question ulikuwa unauliza view ulikuwa unasema?
Mimi nilikuwa nasemaje? Kwa mayengs. Sasa hii inamaanisha mwanaume anaweza afford kukulipia hiyo bride price. And that is what the reality is. Because I'm reading here that there is women's groups in Uganda that have joined, unajua. Juu wanaume huko wanasema ni aje, mimi nimekanja hika kitu, unajua. Wewe ushaka mkuu wangu, I own you literally. So kenye mimi nasema ndio ina fly, unaelewa. So what does that leave, where does that leave women in a society in which tumekuwa sisi tunaongea juu ya feminism? Don't you think that situations like this feed into the feminism movement?
Ownership.
Hiyo wacha nijibu.
Feminism is not an African concept.
Let me answer this. Hata before tuende kwa African concept na nini, hii tunaongelea reality. Atufeed mtu yote. Una get? Kuna families zenye zinaweza fend off watu wanaona huyu hayuko suitable for their kid.
Yes.
Una get? Na ni value, it has nothing to do with love. Tukuja hapo kwanza kwa love. Now feminist wanaingiza emotions kwa reasoning.
Always.
Now when you bring emotions kwa reasoning, then size now it becomes complicated. Unaona jutaanza, what of if now this one loves this one? Then after hiyo itakuwa ni what of if ati unapata that nigga couldn't pay. Yeah, anakuja analeta do lakini he doesn't love the lady. So unaona. So mimi part ya feminist, I don't think, and hizo ndo vitu musema, anytime we bring a name, we are creating divide and conquer. Anytime we bring a label, we are creating divide and conquer. We are here not to understand how feminists work. We are here to talk about how
the dowry affects the perception.
No, how we should work. And it's an opinion. No. We are here to make people think. To opinion ya think through logically, not emotionally. Mimi sasa ukiniambia feminist, I don't mind a feminist akijilipia mahari. I don't mind it, but I may decide. By the time a woman decides to pay for herself dowry, no man could handle that woman. Otherwise angekuwa amehandliwa.
True.
So tukikuwa hapo na machungu tuko hiyo ikubaliwe asingemuendea. You get me? Let's stop fighting things we don't relate with. Let's just fight with what we relate with. And mimi chenye na relate so far. So mimi ya kwa ni value, that's me. Secondly, amesema zingine ni kubuild to family. You know, which before he is what I was saying about communal upbringing.
Love wachia Jesus.
Love, bro. Love to wachia church.
Now there's this aspect, like you started this. I was telling you this simple got married, some newscaster paid 2 million, and then the Chile left. No, this other one, Trevor Ombija.
But he could afford it, right?
But the Chile went. What was the purpose of all this,
bro? We are not gonna blame the Chile for that, man.
No, of course he was told. He was told it's 2 million.
No.
You want our chick, bring 2 million.
I'm a nigga. I want to go marry. By the time mimi nataka nitoe 2 million yani niipeleke kwa boma ya demu wangu, ni juu huo dem ndio huyo.
Sio dictated to. Sasa now boys are under pressure.
Under pressure.
Boys are under pressure.
Yeah,
bro, no.
That's how it's working nowadays.
He's a simp. He paid it. Na huyu akatokwa ni same. Nikai unaniambia venye juzi tukiona story za governor wa Macha. Ana unda birthday na inaita ex wake, and then not even a month later ex wake ana unleash chali yake.
Unleash terror.
And before that apparently Odem alikuwa
wa street
Jaguar sijui nani.
Dem alikuwa kwa Jaguar, jamaa akamchukua. The nigga left his wife and
kids.
Yeah,
unaona?
Akakula kwa pipa kiasi.
Yeah, akaenda akachukua Odem. So hata siendi hizo details. Point ni saizi at this moment sizi tetea, sitakuja ati nianze kusema ati madem ni manini. Odem, that chick went for wealth, bro. Mimi hata kama ni mtoto wangu na niko like huyu amesema ataacha weenda, lakini jua pia yeye anaweza kuacha pia uko ridho.
She went for the best provision at the time.
So I'm not going to tetea ati on career lilipa tu. Huyo analipaje 2 million kwa kitu yuko sure.
By the way, your issue may bring important because you cannot blame others for your bad choices, whether you're a man or a woman. Unaona, wezi enda ushikane na uchukue dem from the streets, alafu akuja kumesa kuache akufagilie kila kitu, alafu kuja anze kutuambia oh women are bad, women are bad. Wewe
you chose a bad woman.
You didn't
And
choose
the
a bad
same
woman.
also-
You are a bad man for that woman.
Also, for
also what he
women,
said.
you go, you choose the wrong men, unatumiwa hapa vibaya, alafu unakuwa salty.
Unaanza kuwa salty.
Unaanza kuwa salty,
All men
bitter.
are dogs.
Ati all men are dogs. So,
Your choice is a dog.
kuna
You are a bitch.
kitu
Bitches attract
tumetinai.
dogs.
mayouth, kuna ile knowledge unapaswa unaambiwa vile ukianza kuchagua bibi nini, watu wengi wa nini.
And that has not
Mhm.
happened for
That doesn't
generations.
Doesn't
happen.
happen for generations, and the narrative that has been sold to a lot of young people is the Western narrative. Ati look for someone you love, marry for love nini. Yeah? So unakuta unaenda unapata, you fall in love with someone.
And the conditions are impossible.
Now,
Unatafuta 2 million juu chini.
when you fall in love with someone, when you're in love, you're high on hormones. These are feel good hormones. You're like a drunk man. You're not in your right mind. Ndio maana unaonanga watu honeymoon phase nini kimebamba, and then later in life hizo ma hormones once they run through your system unakuta unajiuliza hapa I messed up
Nini?
but I can't get out, sasa I'm stuck. Sasa inakuwa kitu ingine. Yeah. But hiyo lazima watu waambiwe na mapema, ndio wasianze ku make mistakes alafu waanze kusema oh nini.
Men are
But
dogs.
in the past, in most cultures in the world, story ya marriage, families ndio zilikuwa zina facilitate. In fact, in the East, the 3 duties of a parent zinakuanga nini? Number 1,
Provide, protect.
to provide for you, to raise you. Number 1. Si ndio? Number 2, to make sure that you get a livelihood. That is, whether it's a trade or whatever. So kama ni kusomesha, upate trade nini. Lakini haifiki tu na masomo, like they have to make sure umefika mali, you're earning a livelihood on your own. Yeah. Number 3, they make sure that you get a good spouse. Those are the 3 duties of a parent. Yeah. Ndio wanaonanga in the East, families are very keen. Wazazi, kwanza like Indians, wanaekanga advertisement. Yeah.
Then they
Right
pay you
on
on top.
Monday.
Because they are paying you. They're paying you. They have to. It's the girl who pays. So you don't. The same flip side of the coin.
Why don't
You don't want your Chile to bring a dustbin over here.
some dusty nigga,
We will just waste our money on this bitch, you know.
Basi mbona tusikue hivyo?
Yeah.
That's why we're having this
Till
discussion.
today, mimi usupport sana Mswati, the Swazilands. Bila uanga, unajua uset standard. Demu kwe vajo. Yeah. Kama wewe ni vajo umejieka vizuri, then you deserve to get a good man. Yeah. Na ikuangi ni king peke yake, inakuanga king na maboys wake.
Useme good man.
He has.
Sema wealthy man.
I think.
Ukisema good man tena unataka kuanza kupatwa definition.
Love.
Yes.
You know.
A good man loves his chick. That's
A high value man.
That's why.
Let's say a responsible man.
A high value man.
I think I'll go with what you're
Hapo
saying.
si responsible. Hapo si responsible. Kila mtu ni responsible. Wale watu maboys wanakanga hapo na Mswati, tuseme tu ni high value men.
Yangu ni because we've all concurred, tumekubali kulipa bride price ni muhimu.
Yes.
Tumekubali hiyo, si ndio?
So
mi swali yangu-
How it's taken is where we got
when the
stuck.
value is
It's
So
good.
hapo kwa value ndo mimi narudi. How should we calculate the bride price? Waindi wako na a very interesting method.
Tusome.
Na hapa hivi wanadai the calculated net dowry is the difference between the value of gifts given by the bride's family to the groom or his family and those given by the groom's family to the bride's family. The groom's family had paid more to the bride's family in a very small number of marriages.
That
Grooms pay also.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's
So the
I always assumed it's the Chiles who keep
bado
paying.
sijai get
So it is out of the value. Like if one family pays goods worth 4 mil, and then the other doubles up with like 5 point something.
So the
Her
chile is worth a
value is
mil.
rated at around 9 mil. Is that it?
So
No
now
difference.
Here it says
1 mil.
narudia
but
hiyo
the
statement
value.
kwanza for diesel. They calculated net dowry as the difference between the value of gifts given by the bride's family to the groom's family, or those given by the groom's family to the bride's family.
So if you come with
Collectively, Kenya nyinyi mmeleta to the table, wana do the difference, alafu hiyo ndo Kenya inalipa.
but how
Difference na
how is that important?
difference na nini as in siele.
So
Okay,
if
bring
one
1 mil and
then
the
the
chile
other-
brings 3 mil, so your value is 2 mil, something like that.
So after hapo sasa ulipiwe 2 mil.
Unalipiwa 2 mil sasa.
So it's just
So ni yule
expenditure.
mwenye ameleta mo.
So it's just expenditure in
Ni
this.
yule mwenye ameleta mo.
Kuna vitu mingi ukiangalia India. Sikiza. Ukiangalia hiyo ya India lazima pia ufactor in the caste system. Pia ina throw off hiyo nini. But I think the biggest determinant ya value ya dem inakuanga ni social standing ya family yao.
Yeah, at least around here.
In most places in the world,
Yes,
it's the social standing of your family.
hereditary.
Yeah. So
That's why people are not marrying these rich girls.
They are, bro.
we si wa hiyo
No,
class.
yeah, wewe si wa hiyo class
level.
bro, unakam kudu?
Hata akikuoa na you overloa nini, you will struggle to move around in her circles. Struggle.
Kwanza you're banned. If it's a
Yeah.
caste system, you are not even supposed to be talking to these guys.
Caste system
But-
just makes it explicit.
That you
Inasema,
can't
You
marry
guys,
this one.
you guys stay there. It's really stratifying guys.
Kwa hivyo
Acha
church ndio shortcut.
hata acha nikupatia a
AG.
more practical example. Unaonanga mimi siku hizi naonanga madem ni successful career wise yani. Yeni yuko huko si suit yani. Top huko ni executive.
PhD nini.
Labda amekosa bwana, sasa anaenda anatafuta kaniga tu kamtaa, anajaribu
Ben 10.
kuka clean up ana clean up huyu boy, anampanguza vumbi nini
Yes.
lakini huyu boy dem haezi leta huyu boy kwa circles zenye huyu dem ana nini.
Yeye
Because
hukuwa.
those men do
Watch
not
out-
respect
watch
him.
out at home.
Watauliza, who is this?
Watch out at home. What do you have?
Eh,
What did you study?
we nani?
Kwa hivyo church ndio shortcut.
No, to some church is your shortcut because the families must meet in that church.
Yeah,
Bro.
so it's a full 90.
We imagine
Come we stay in your shortcut ama na demu mtoi wa mse.
church no kama stay hiyo pengine ni gavana ndio ilikuja kaleta shortcut mkikaa pamoja mmeoana.
No, that was now they were resolving it. It was like the same way we started. They were resolving a problem that's already current.
Bro.
Shortcut niweke dem ball.
Actually mimi na feel shortcut.
Dem ako na door.
Ndio maana madem wengi utrap wazee hivyo.
Actually mimi na feel
Yeah, we
shortcut ni hii
discussed
church
the
kwa sababu
trap
kwa nini
also.
nasema church? Tunaweza enda kuoana na wewe church bila hii shughuli nyingine. Unajua siku hizi kuna ma private wedding. Unajua kitambo ingekuwa achaneni na hizo culture.
You know,
What God has put together.
Hazel, you have to distinguish between a wedding and a marriage. Yeah? Wedding unaweza fanya mahali popote. Hata mnaweza jifungia kwa keja na AG tu
And you
msaini wa
wed.
karatasi. Fanyio wedding.
Na mnaweza ifanya kwa
after
private
wedding,
island pia.
Marriage
wedding-
happens after you leave that
Marriage
ages.
is-
huyu dem, she's not in isolation, she has a family and social circles. Na wewe pia uko na family na social circles. How those two interact sasa ndio inakuwa challenge, because ndio labda convince dem, umemdanganya amekubali and she's from a higher nini, lakini unakuta wewe sasa hata wezi fitina hapo.
Hata wezi enda home kumcheki.
Hata wase hawakurecognize, hawakunini. First of all, you didn't come in the right way. You snuck in.
Uliingia na ball.
Wezi ingia like a thief in the night yani.
Through pass daddy.
Alafu expect wase tu atakuchukua hivi yani.
Wakuone ndio wewe ndio huyu umefika.
And those rich guys, they can give you shit.
So meaning venye tu tulisema about hiyo law ya kwanza, hii dowry it only
Yes.
applies to the wealthy.
It applies to everyone.
Should we-
Lakini
Should we keep
Kila
it or
mtu
get
analipa.
rid of it?
kulingana na social standing yako.
Ndio nase
Hawezi kuwa demu wa huko
So,
down
naona
unataka 2
nimeuliza hivi,
million.
Dowry, what is dowry? Juu ukiniambia ina depend na social standing, hata watoto au wenye wako huko chini si pia
They still
wanataka
have
Pia
dowry.
wanataka mabibi.
pia wanataka mabibi na mabwana, na pia hao wanataka social standing fulani,
Sasa
si ndio? Si unaweza pata dem from a very low place.
sasa unaowala.
No, that is the trick now. Box in your straighter.
So meaning huko
Don't-
chini hakuna dowry.
No, dowry inaweza kuwa hata paka, bro. Those down there, what you pay down there is not what you're going to pay up here. Kuna watu
Bro,
huku down watachukua
saying this,
paka,
nimetoka
bro.
kudefine dowry ni ya kucombine ma families, right?
That is
Yes,
that is for
what he has
successful people, me I would say.
Monarchs.
Unless sasa useme hivyo kwa sababu venye umedefine solely.
Kaliko ghetto, what
Hiyo si ya
family am
kila
I
mtu.
looking for?
Hiyo si ya kila mtu. Kuna wengine huko chini itakuwa ni ile hata even not ghetto, even messed up people. Tuchukue kama Bonnie and Clyde. You know, watu waliamua kupatana. Wakajua wenyewe sisi ama
Going down in flames.
sisi tunajua venye si tuko. So mimi nitakulipia dowry ndio tumalizane nao watu alafu si tuwe.
But in life si
So-
inakuanga hivyo. You play with the cards you are dealt.
with.
Kama
Sasa ndio nauliza bro,
resources
we are
zako,
dowry.
Sasa shida ni hivi huku.
Nenda
Hii
ujue-
story ya love tu ndio inaharibu.
You're
Because you are like the example, niko huku down but I want mtoi wa preso.
want
You
to
understand?
punch 2-3
You're
levels up.
punching above your weight, man. The same way punching below your weight. Just stay in your caste there.
You're a phony and a fraud,
Just stay in your caste.
and you've not done the work.
Meaning dowry ni ya watu wealthy.
Not
If
necessarily.
you're poor,
Dowry is for those who can afford it. Then.
No,
it down.
no, people are still paying it.
yeah,
Poor.
dowry is for the people who can afford it.
Yes.
So
That's why boys are under pressure to find 2 million because he punched too high.
No, man.
No,
no.
if they say she's worth 2 million and you want her, and they see you can afford it, they put it.
But
down for
there are
you.
people who are
Unajua
changaing for
hivi,
dowry out
tuseme
here.
hivi, kama mzazi
Mm.
mzazi akikaa hivi, mzazi wanga anataka kama unaenda kujichagulia, ukikuja na boy ama dem, unaleta mtu wa maana,
According to your class.
mtu ana make sense ya nakuuliza baba yako ni nani?
Hata si kitambo bro, hiyo kitu
We didn't
inaendelea.
talk.
man. Wewe ni wa wapi?
I was told,
What's your name?
Otieno, what does this girl want in this house? That's where the temptation comes for Chiles now to punch up because they're trying to uplift themselves.
Not only Chiles, there are also
Even
niggas who do
guys.
that.
No, it's the nigga who's going to pay the bride price generally.
No,
So
the
Sasa
guys
ndio
who,
nauliza venye Solia amesema. Huu unaweza kuwa pressure ni kwa wote.
it's
Mwenye
mostly
huku
on.
chini inaweza kuwa mwenye huku chini anataka huyu mtu mwenye huko juu. And then venye tumesema hii inaweza kuwa a whole wide context. Unaget? Juu unaweza pata kama tuseme imagine this udem alienda kapatana na jamaa maybe math contest or symposium ya national schools. Na jamaa alipelekwa huko through charity.
And he's in a decent school, so you can't tell if he's rich or
Yeah,
not.
you can't tell. And then pia akili yake imemweka hapo.
on scholarship and the like, right?
Yeah. Akili yake imemweka ile anaweza interact with that class.
Yeah,
Then he did
that's
one
actually that's why
Si kuna hiyo
national
side.
schools are successful in this country.
Kuna hiyo side. So kama kuna hiyo side ndio nauliza hii dowry yenye mnaongelea
But still, remember,
dowry is for the rich.
remember, huyu mtoi
can afford
akienda
to
home
pay.
holiday goes back
Si
there.
for the rich, this is
The
because
rich
those
kid
who can
goes this
afford-
side.
whole concept
You're in
of
the same.
dowry, mtu wako analipa dowry peke yake, ulikuwa unasapotiwa na familia yenu, uncles zako nini,
They
mabibi
help you
zako.
pay.
Hiyo ndio chenye tulianza nayo tukisema hivyo according to our culture. Una get?
Most
Venye
cultures.
venye umetoka kuexplain familia inaenda inakutafutia huyo dem. Unajua like kuna hadi maspy wanakuangalia kayo familia is fit nini hivyo. Kuna hizo but saizi none of that is happening.
Yeah, then
Saizi unajua mzazi anangoja tu umeleta mtu.
parents are
kuna
not
hiyo,
involved.
the dropping of due diligence. Hizi watu wafanyi due diligence.
Nothing. Ni love tu
Ni
squeeze.
kitu tu yenye tuseme tu ni kitu pragmatic for lack of a better word.
Mm.
Yaani lazima ukifanya kitu lazima unafanya background yako ujue ile kitu una get in.
It's common sense.
Na siku hizi
Am I marrying a witch
watu
or
wengi
not? You know, it's
hawafanyi-
common
Someone with
sense.
proper lineage.
a lot
But
of
love is
people do
guys
that.
are blinded by love,
In
man.
that process kitambo
And
uko
kudai.
unasaidiwa na family, so family acts as a filter in a
Yes.
filter, because unajua mi kama boy naweza danganya dema nikubali, lakini I cannot take that bullshit to other men, they'll see through me.
To her family, right?
Unaona?
Sasa ukisema hivyo
Mm.
nikurudishe kwa ile pati ya tulifika hapa kwa sababu
Breakdown in society.
juu family ingekuletea mtu mwenye hata amrai, ni juu family ndio imeona.
Yeah.
And that was not important. You just needed a chile. Whether you love her or not, you love as you go.
So yeah. Bro, that wasn't working.
Marriage-
Arranged
marriage
marriage. That's
kitambo-
arranged marriage.
Marriage, there was no
Haikuwa
love.
It was
about
arranged
kurahim,
marriage.
haikuwa
What?
about love, it was about duties.
It was about
Duty.
umefika age, you need a chile here.
We umemarry, kuna zile responsibilities na duties to your wife, to take care of her nini na watoi nini, na pia ana take care of things on the other side. Kuna hiyo ndio ilikuwa contract kitambo.
So meaning dowry,
Hizo
marriage,
mambo ya love,
hizo azidili, hizo hakuna love.
watu walikuwa na
Church.
mtu who is a perfect fit or the best fit.
Unapata dem
Unakuta-
amestunya, wanakusho huyu ndio dem yako.
In India hata unaendanga wanaenda kuona nini mtu anafanya hizo astrological signs zao, wa make sure ziko compatible, because some astrological signs
Are
hazi-
incompatible.
they are incompatible.
Hold up. But you know, time immemorial. We had been talking here earlier on with Pato. The whole thing of a woman being accrued to a man's property was because the land and all entitlements fell upon the man. So now when you're coming to pay the dowry and the like, during that period and also even nowadays, when you're coming to pay, it's more of reparations for all that has been brought up with the girl. So now you're removing like part of his land, part of his property. He can't just give you his property. There also has to be not a monetary but an attachment, some value attached to what he's giving away. So that's where the dowry essence comes in. From then, what it has come to right now, what you're talking about, the thing of having people stipulate a price, like you can't marry my daughter unless you have like 2 million or more.
Or if you're from this family.
But you see,
So those are
what we are
stipulations
avoiding
based
to
on
say
what-
here is basically women are property.
But
That
that's
is what we have failed to
that-
say
that's
for
what I'm
2
saying.
hours.
Na wale wenye wanawake wanalipa mahari kama India.
No, I talk about our culture. I don't
The men
know.
are properties.
I've just learned today that even men are paying that nini. So what the fuck? I didn't know men in India paying dowry equally.
Mije najua ni hiyo part ya property.
Ni property, we can't avoid it.
Ndio zile mawazi zenye
Mm.
soli utumia hapa. Ni what I know dowry is. Dowry ni coexistence. Hiyo ni part of coexistence. Mna create shame, mna coexist nayo. Jumuki niambia mtu ni property, then mi kuna point yenye nitaona pia mi ni property. Otherwise hawa watu wange nikubali if I couldn't bring this.
No, you are just the ATM.
Wewe ni property pia.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
You are,
when
you are the
you say-
financier. You are the financier. Yes, you are an asset, but you're not a property.
Wewe unaweza kuwa how
You're
tumerent.
an asset.
You are an asset to this
You are a
family.
property bro.
No, if I don't want to pay that bride price, hamtakuwa na do.
Ndio nasema ushalipa. Hawa watu wamekukujia ukalipa.
No,
Both
Yes.
of you are property.
who?
Why you're an asset is because value can be attached to
Property and asset are different things. Property,
School us.
property ni I've bought this thing.
Yeah.
Asset ni something that makes you money.
something that can mature with time also. So does
Yeah.
property, but
So meaning your property can be an asset but an asset can't be a property. Ama unajaribu kusema nini? Because your property can bring you money.
Property
your
in the
property can
sense
be an
that
asset when it
property in the sense that I own this chick.
Venye asset in the sense that I own this company. Jav, unajaribu kusema nini?
Nasema hivi. You've bought this chile. That's all I'm saying.
And
And she's part of my things.
ulimbai kwa nini? Ulimbai kwa sababu watu waliona unaweza mbai. Na ndio Soli anasema kuna zingine zenye unaweza enda ubai mtu then watu wa kuoneka ATM machine. Unajua hii na hii.
My brothers need to go to university.
So at the end of the day, property in our both sides depending on.
Property will have a physical standing. Why the woman is an asset? Because it can change in its value.
How?
A woman can change in her value. If a woman is just single, when you marry her, then when she gets that, it's still changing in value. When she gets a child, to you that can be an addition to your
Things.
lineage. So that is
Ni
adding
things tu
onto
hapa.
you.
Munakata
So
kusema
assets-
things.
What?
Munakata kusema tu your word.
You know,
Things.
No,
These
that's how
these
it
are my
is. That's
things,
how
bro.
it is.
I agree with you. But we ume run to the finish line ka conclude hii logic. Ukifuata hiyo logic history yote ya property rights na nini
Mm-hmm.
ina end kama mimi mwanaume nianzishe family nini I cannot be responsible for something I have no authority over. Yeah. Ni kama mi nakuja na kushow we ndio driver wa hii gari. We ndio driver hii gari. Anything happens to this car ni wewe. Lakini hii gari si wewe utaendesha. Hii gari utapatia iendeshwe huko na watu wengine. Na una say nani anaendesha hiyo gari.
But you have to make sure it's running.
Hiyo gari ikigonga mtu ama ikiharibika, you are the one responsible. How can that work? Yeah? So, madem wakuja wakasema we want to be strong, independent nini. They are under no man's authority. Yeah? Unaona? Lakini sasa wewe kama you're a family man, something happens with people in your family, you're being held responsible. Yeah? You go to court, you're held responsible. Ndio maana unaona maboys wengi wanasema mi sitaki kuoa, wacha tu nikae peke yangu, because hata nishike ukipatana na dem mi na hustle natafuta pesa, lakini nikipelekwa court wanachukua half of my property, wananieka on hizo masupport zote, child support nini. Hiyo property nimework for it, but I have no
But
authority
sorry, hapo
over
ndo
it.
mali tunasema bro, don't include us in your bad mistakes. You get me? Don't
You might as well have
The
found
whole
a
thing
Chile
of
who's not.
wedlock.
kuna wale wenye
Those are
walipata-
Chile who would have done the things you want, but you chose this one.
wewe tu ulienda ukakaa ukaamua naenda na hii, like as in tusi usema okay, not see mu shinda nikisema kuna red flags.
They are always there.
When you're
Constantly.
following red flags, deal with red flags. Jua kuna consequences zitakuhit na hizi red flags. Una get? Wanaume wengi tumejua kwanza after hii corona tukakuja tukapata the moment they couldn't make the money they were making,
My chicks fled.
the Chiles fled. Wengine wakaenda hadi na vitu zao nini. So hiyo tunakuja tunasema hawa wanawake bro, you made a bad investment.
A bad choice.
A bad investment.
I agree on that, but you're looking at it at the individual level. I'm talking about generally at a societal level.
But it's not happening. It's not being looked at like that anymore.
But
That's not happening anymore.
I'm asking it.
Ngoja sasa. Wasi mademu anasema marriage is slavery. Nini. It's like ni kama ukidem akiwa under your authority ni kama slavery.
Which are the girls who are saying
Wanaona
marriage
the
is
submission.
slavery?
Submission ni
Sasa wana
Yeah.
rebel, unaona? So, but they've also gone a step ahead and they have re-engineered society. The laws, nini. Africa, we are on our way there. But in the West, it is so bad, yani. Ndio utajua, yani, you are not in control of anything as a man in the West. Yeah? So, the men are asking, how can I be responsible for something I have no authority over.
But where were you when these things were being done? We were asleep. Men were sleeping.
So tumefika hapo.
Sasa si ndio tunasema I'm driving to your point. Yeah. So the only way that this thing can work ni vile tu umesema. Mwanamke ni property. Then watu watajua OPP.
How can I explain it? I'll take it frame by frame it.
Don't mess with other people's property. Na hiyo ndio nakutanga ile concept ya covering ya dem. Kuta dem iko covered. Either you're covered by your father ama ukitoka hapo uko covered
By your man.
by your husband. Unaona? So hiyo ni discussion we will have to have as a society at some point.
We have to.
Otherwise tuseme kila mtu ni independent, kila mtu afanye vitu zake. Mimi ni make do zangu. Decide na mwili yako kuzaa ule mtoi.
So-
Akikushinda we can
So
mtoi.
That is
Do you-
actually
do you-
before you came.
Mm.
We were talking about that. Maliza Marvin.
Do you believe that the dowry should change if the woman is with child, or it should stay like constant? You should
Depends
pay
if the child is yours ama ulimpata naye.
like out of wedlock, because that's where all this began from.
Bro, out of wedlock.
The value has already dropped immediately. A woman with a kid out of wedlock is
na si
damaged.
wako.
Na si wako. It's damaged already
But you see,
immediately.
was
Depends, unajua
supporting-
kitambo.
Even there, they can't even ask you for
Kitambo,
bride
ndio
price
nilikuwa
by the way.
nasema, back to property. Kitambo ilikuwa inasemekana akikuja na watoi wanakuwa wako. Kitambo walikuwa wana accept hizo vitu. So dem already yuko na mtoi, in some cases alikuwa analipiwa more bride price because one, she's tried and tested, anaweza zaa watoto na anaweza lea, tunaona, na already amekuletea mtu, so amekusave kazi ya kunini,
Kazi ya kunjoti.
lakini ukiwa demana mtoi hata ujui kama atazaa ama hatazaa. It's a gamble.
These are the
Kwa
contradictions now
Kwa
by the
Wajaka ilikuwa different. Kwa Wajaka ni hivi. Dem akona value most ni
ni
vajo.
vajo.
In most cultures.
Unaget hii mimi sijui hizo most. Dem akona value most ni vajo. Haya. Dem akona mtoi na si wako,
Inashuka.
hii inashuka. Wewe ukipatia dem mtoi, value inapanda badly. Umevunja ng'ombe mguu. Unaget, so you pay more hata kuliko vajo.
And that is actually exactly what
Unaget,
is.
that for us Luos, like ukipatia dem ball na mtoini wako
And
na
you-
ulimpatia before mlipe mahari yako ni juu.
It's a punishment also.
Yeah, kwa sababu you went against our wewe nyinyi mlienda mkafanya vitu zenu alafu without
So,
kuku-
hiyo ya-
consult.
And you've already damaged her future, so
Hiyo
you
ya
must go
the
with her.
value of the bride price hiyo I think every culture will determine. In Sudan, the taller a chick is, the more you pay. So
Anyway,
inategemea.
Sasa dem
Tunaweza-
kapato hivi anaweza kuwa free huko.
tunaweza maliza
No.
Sare, ndio sababu
Nataka
ulikam
tumalize show unless the producer has something
ndio
to
sababu
tell us.
ulikam Kenya.
Producer unasemaje?
Mi nilikuwa na
Best
riddles.
chains.
nilikuwa na
Huh?
riddles mbili zenye nilikuwa nataka
Hii kitu haishangi.
Uh-huh.
This discussion never ends sadly.
so just to unajua to divulge yani out of hizo vitu zote tumekuwa tukiongea, what time is it when an elephant sits on a fence?
Akiwa na elephantiasis.
What time? Time to see a doctor, you're mad. A
Actually,
psychiatrist.
it's time to fix the fence.
What?
We warned you about these questions, bro.
What?
Sawa.
Awe tumalize show, tumalize.
Swali ya mwisho.
Hausulize hiyo kitu tena.
What gets wet while drying?
What gets wet
While drying.
while dry?
Well, drying.
While drying.
Taxing. Ni
Tatang.
taxing tu. Si taxing unatoa
Wala-
juice na
unataka
inakuwa
kusema
wet.
kitu ya ujinga. Najua of course
What
you're dirty.
gets
Please
wet
tell
wa-
us your dirty shit.
Marvin,
No,
Ebu,
no.
give us
I'm going to-
an insight into your
I'm going to
dirty
answer
minds.
this one.
That must be a washing a drying machine.
Marvin, give us your perverted
What's
mind.
yours, Marvin?
I was going to say your tongue.
While drying what?
When your tongue comes out of your mouth, it is drying. But if it enters a
Marvin,
moist
We need to give, bro.
Go and stand in the corner, Marvin. You're even worse than V now. Mi nimesema ni taxing.
Riddle upon riddle.
It was a simple answer. It's a towel.
Towel?
Yeah, towel.
Ah, fuck off.
What dries when it's getting wet?
Anyway, kesho ni Wednesday.
Weno, kesho ni weno.
Kesho ni weno, man.
And after weno is zipping, babies.
Mi actually nangojaga tu hiyo Thursday.
Hiyo Thursday hata sisikiangi kukamija hiyo ofisi.
Dancing
Si ati si
classes.
ukam, but yeah.
I'm going to do salsa between now and
Anyway, the
Thursday.
420 show mnaweza tupata tena kesho from 7:30 to 11.
7:30 to 9:30. Alafu
Oh, 7:30 to
And
9:30.
the big story,
alafu kutoka
Andrew Kibe Show.
Yes.
Inaanza saa ngapi?
Kutoka 11 hadi saa 7 kutakuwa na hiyo replay ya the AKL.
Okay, sawa.
Sawa.
Basi.
So you have a full morning. Tafuteni bundles.
Sawa, tupataneni kesho manze.
Peace out. That was the 420. Yo.